All right. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the channel if you're new. Welcome back if you're returning. This is Sherry Mosley, and we're going to be doing our check-in here for this powerful, really powerful new moon here. It's technically November 13th, but it's happening very late at night on November 12th. So it's Sunday evening. It's like at 1:30 in the morning. So we'll be doing our check-in and connecting for our activations as well as any messages. And I actually got a message earlier this morning that I'm going to go ahead and add to this video. So I'm just recording this because it's coming in now before I'm doing the actual new moon video, but there's just so much energy switching around that I wanted to say this while it's coming in, that we've talked about this in the Pleiadian new light encoding event that we did, and we ended that series last week, and now we're doing the Aqualorian ascending being healing. And what's really becoming clear is we're talking about timelines. So it's just one word that people use, but things are shifting around so much that the mind can't keep track. It's like the energy is going up so much that things come in, fall out, things come in, fall out, fall out. And meanwhile, the ego wants some sort of guarantee or confirmation or stability amongst that. And just that kind of bumpy ride it almost makes everybody kind of pull into their shell in a sense, because there's a sense of just trying to sort it out or figure it out. Or the other thing is, if you're not in a shell trying to figure it out, you may be sorting it out through interactions, acting it out, right? So maybe you're drawn to certain places, called to certain people, or, old people are dropping out. I've also experienced old timelines and people popping back in. And then whatever was like part of that scenario or work that you needed to do in a sense of becoming more aware through that connection or process or thing that needed to be done. It's like it comes in to drop off whatever bits you need to go forward on what's new. So there is a sense of, it's almost like weaving timelines, kind of going back and forth and back and forth. But what's really happening is you're detaching. You're detaching from the timelines, and this is what's going to create an actual new level of a timeline, which is something that we haven't really been through before. Changing timelines is quite familiar. It's talked about a lot, and this is kind of, if all the timelines that say that they're running in a horizontal plane, right? And now we're leveling up, meaning we're coming into a vertical shift. So we're going in between all the timelines, almost to kind of jump up out of them into a vertical space, because the frequency is coming so high. It's like it's dragging or taking all of the heightened or light inspired parts of these consciousness timelines of experiences and realities. It's taking all of the truth, is what Akashic Enlightenment would call it, and anything that is truth, or A Course in Miracles says nothing real, nothing that isn't real will exist, right? Only what is real exists. So what is real and what is true is being pulled vertically up into the new frequency timeline that is forming from all the highest points of previous, past, present, future timelines. because time is not actually linear. So there is just a major reconstruction, and so this may be causing a lot of disorientation, especially with this new moon, because it's charging forward after all of these eclipses. And so we may have had inklings along the road ever since the eclipses, or ever since Pluto into Aquarius back in March and April. That was kind of the grand wake-up call, boom, right? And then the eclipses happened to organize everything that needed to happen so that when Pluto comes back into Aquarius, starting end of January of 2024, right? And then, we're working into a whole 20-year cycle coming out of a 16-year cycle. So what happened this spring was just kind of the wake-up call of, okay, are you ready? What needs to happen? And so now we're at this point of starting to need to shift things materially. So there may be, I've seen moving trucks everywhere. Businesses are closing down their locations, moving to new locations, relationships ending, maybe old relationships that have readjusted are coming back online if they parted. And if they're ready to go forward, they'll go forward. There may have been, maybe you dropped out of a career situation in spring sometime between May and June, okay? Or you dropped out of a living situation then, and then things changed in the months since June, right? And now that we've come through the eclipses, now all of that is being reviewed or looked at again. And, we talked about the process of all of this in the Becoming a Universal Being courses that we did June through October, right? And those were helping with that process. Okay, they had told me ahead of time there's going to be like this 5-month shifting that's happening, and I wasn't really aware of what that was more than that. But you're coming into this leveling up, coming into a higher level of light or consciousness as the whole of humanity is. So there just may be a lot of disorientation as we are going through this new moon. It is just like a slingshot, or the gateway just really, really opening after these eclipses that we've had, right? It's the first moon without an eclipse that's going to just kind of, turn all the lights on and you're going to see everything. And it's probably going to be time to take some action if you haven't already, okay? But you also may be seeing this everywhere in one way or another, right? People are behaving, businesses changing, housing changing, relationships changing, change. And some of it may be aligned and conscious, and other parts of it may be trying to make a change before things are fully consciously digested, right? So just want to make sure that you are in that deeper awareness as you make these changes. And it can be a little bit tricky to navigate. But there is a sense of and I've talked about this before when we've gone through somewhat similar waves of change, but this one is very different because it's much bigger than what's been happening, right? So we had the 2012 shift, we had the shift in the fall of 2016 where a lot of light workers came online. I know Matt Kahn did a channeling from the Pleiadians about that. I found that years later, and I was like, oh, okay. Everybody was kind of going through that. That's when I got assigned to really do Akashic Enlightenment, to do the books and all of that. So there was the 2012 shift, the 2016 shift. Both of those took place with Pluto and Capricorn, which we're at the end part of. And before Pluto went into Capricorn, and this would have been end of 2007 coming into 2008, there was a lot of shifting happening then as well. So now we're at the next kind of cusp of shifting Pluto from Capricorn into Aquarius, but also there's a leveling up happening because we've already been through 2012 and 2016, and the frequencies are accelerating massively. So this shift is way bigger even than the one that happened then. So there may be a sense of the tide going out, okay? And as the tide goes out, you can see, all the little rocks and shells, sea creatures, things that you don't normally see, right? And then you can know better what's coming with you, right? And what needs to drop out. Because then when that tide comes back in, it's going to push you way up onto the shore to a new place. Okay, so you need to know what you're bringing with you when it's going to be like a tsunami wave. And some people, including myself, have had dreams of these large waves, like a tsunami wave coming in and wiping out things. I have not had that dream during this time, but during other waves of transitional energy that we've had since 2016. All right? Okay. I think that's kind of where I'm going to leave it for now. And then we'll go ahead and pick up and do the new moon meditation transmission. And I guess I'll expand on that a little bit now as well. So just kind of picking up where I left off, but there's just a lot of energy that is shifting right now. And we're coming into a very catalyzed time of change. And I know it's been a process of healing and clearing since we got through the eclipses. And this is our first new moon, actually first moon cycle since the eclipses. And it is a new moon, which is bringing us into a lot of new. So you may have, a lot of changes that are starting to come in, ready for you to step into these new ways of being. And some of them may be sudden, and some of them you may be aware of, depending on how dialed into the energy you have been. And the energy has been very intense. And depending on your soul's journey, there may be things coming in from previous to the eclipse period when we were in Pluto and Aquarius, right? And so with that coming in with kind of a new awareness from everything we've been through, this is where the changes start to come forward, right? And what are the new chapters that you're moving into as part of that? And this may be a little surprising for some, or really exciting, surprising as well, like a lot of blessings and gifts from doing so much inner work and transformation and coming to a new level of awareness, right? But overall, the new moon is going to be very, very powerful, right? And we're just a couple days before it here as I'm doing this video, and I'll do the actual extended meditation on the day of. So we'll be deeply immersed in the energy. If you want that deeper immersion, then you can join my Patreon membership and go ahead and connect to the transmission that way. And we're going to go ahead and do our little connection here to the Temple of Light as we connect to the Ascended Masters and all of the Angelics to assist us with receiving any light activations, higher knowledge, or just centering our energy to be balanced so that we can have clarity moving through this new moon cycle, because the moon cycles really just expand on whatever is already occurring for you in your current field of energy, right? It's just sometimes it'll activate something to be looked at more closely, or sometimes it may be a wake-up call, right? And so it just depends how it's interacting with your personal soul's journey, your soul blueprint, and or your astrological chart. But even in Asian medicine, they would look at the moon cycles and use that as part of the diagnosis just to see how it's affecting the spiritual body, right? And then how that may be affecting the mental, emotional, and physical body as well. Okay, because sometimes you will feel these on a physical level, and sometimes even Chinese herbs and acupuncture will help with that as well. Or oftentimes I'll run the Aqualorian crystalline light healing energy, and that helps a lot with ascension symptoms as well. So, and so do these meditations and energy transmissions or activations. So you can go ahead and just get comfortable. You definitely want to be kind of in a meditative place and position. You can be laying down as well and receive this as a healing and maybe have something to write on. If you need to take notes after the session on any guidance that you receive or anything that you wish to remember from the deeper session. And of course, if you are familiar with Akashic Enlightenment, you can open up your Akashic Enlightenment. If you need the Akashic Enlightenment Gateway Prayer and how to open it, that's in my book, Akashic Enlightenment. It'll just help you to get into your own personal field. But I'll be opening up the field and the energy space here for us to go ahead and connect. So go ahead and get comfortable. I'm just gonna get my crystals. I don't know that I told you guys, but I do have a bag of crystals. Got some moldavite in here and some tektite and angel aura quartz. All kinds of goodies in here. And then I also use this Vogel wand. It's a divine love cut and ruby lavender quartz, and it's from Mount Shasta from Crystal Wings. So I use this in all of my healing sessions. All right, but yeah, just using those tools to help us dial in deeper. So you can go ahead and get comfortable, and I'll start making the connection. Just in case I'm whispering, move that a little closer. There we go. And now we are starting to connect with the Ascended Masters, Yogananda, Ascended Master Jesus, are my kind of more usual Ascended Master Spirit Teacher guides. And now we begin to connect to the multidimensional Temple of Light, dimensional space. And just connecting there. I'm already hearing the light language streaming in. So we're just sitting on a little lotus flower here in the center of this golden and white temple with the Ascended Masters in front of us, as well as the Angelics. And I'm just hearing the light codes, so I'll just let the energy stream in. The light codes come in faster than I can say them. We have Archangel Metatron and Michael stepping into the energy field, the light field that is streaming in. So they are sending their frequencies in as well. And I just hear them saying, a great time of change. Great change is upon you. A necessary change. And they're just showing that there's doorways, paths are opening, opportunistic paths. So they're inviting you to make sure that you are connecting deep enough to your true self, your core self, the self that is outside of all false perceptions, outside of all karmic lines or egoic defenses, and asking you to make decisions and choices from this true centered place. Being able to recognize these doorways, these opportunities, and this may be somewhat emotional as you release your attachments to comfort zones or illusions of stability. And now they're just slowing down the energy to help you recenter into some of what these realities may be for you. As we slowly start to come back from that deeper space, Archangel Michael and Metatron step out of the light field that's coming in, allowing you to kind of settle in more. But there is a great invitation to making all decisions and actions from a place of higher integrity and a deeper knowing from your true self, what is real, not false egoic reactions, not comfort zones, not false securities, but really stepping up and stepping forward into a new dynamic truth of pure light and oneness that you are already a part of. So there is safety in that because you are already a part of it. Right? The outcome is already there, even though you may not know it. You have to go through the experience of surrendering, through experiencing the turn at each new step of trusting as you take that step forward that you know is the highest step. Yeah. All right, and so now we are just going to start coming back from the Temple of Light. I know it may be a little hard to come back. Here we go. As we thank the Ascended Masters and Angelics, coming off of the lotus flower in the center, coming back with our spirit teachers, Ascended Master Jesus and Yogananda, back to this dimensional space, coming back to the room and the space that you're in, and just feeling your hands and feet, wiggling your fingers and toes, coming all the way back, maybe rubbing your hands together, and gently opening your eyes. And just take any notes on anything that you receive that you wish to remember. And I'll kind of drop us back more out of the space. Wonderful. So welcome back. And I'll also invite you, if you need any personal assistance figuring out all this transformation, you can sign up for a personal shamanic Akashic record reading for higher guidance or any clearing or any activations that you need. Or if you want to connect more with light language frequency, there's the Akashic Aura light language sessions. Or if you're feeling really called to go forward into your higher awakening path, there's Akashic Enlightenment training. You can learn to work in Akashic Enlightenment, become a light keeper, resonating a frequency holder. That's levels 1 through 3, or go all the way up to level 10, become an Akashic Enlightenment teacher or reader. And those are one-on-one sessions, or I'm starting the group webinars on November 30th. So you want to get on that track now if you want to start doing the Akashic Enlightenment training in a group webinar. So that'll be starting November 30th. And then right now we're continuing to do the Metatron and the Guardian Angelics, Angelic re-encoding series. And these have been quite powerful. We're in our second part here, and you can do them at any time. They're not sequential in part 1, 2, or 3. They're more like volumes of a book series, but they don't rely on the other. But this one, we've been really connecting powerfully to Metatron and getting these light body activations and upgrades into these new levels that are coming in. So that's another really good way to support yourself through the transformational energy. And that's on Fridays at 11. And all this information's in the description box below. And all the events are at sherrymosley.com/events. Everything is there that you can sign up for. There's also the Aqualorian crystal and light healing. We're doing the Ascending Being Healing series, the personal healing, the wealth and prosperity healing, and conscious relationship healing. So that's just going to be a series this month of November. And then in December, we're doing much more angelic work with Metatron, because the energy is shifting so much. I think I just saw an orb go by here. That may have been Metatron if you saw that pass through. Yeah, take that as an invitation. I love it when they do that. All the Metatron events, there's quite a few of them coming up here. And, Metatron's a powerful transformer when we come into these big energy shifts. So I know when he starts showing up to do a lot of work, he holds a light field that's equal to the Ascended Masters, like Ascended Master Jesus or Buddha, so there's a powerful energy frequency with Metatron and the work that he's doing. So if you're interested in any of that, it's all on my website, sherrymosley.com/events, if you want the events, and then the trainings are under the trainings, personal sessions under the sessions. And I hope that you're navigating all this energy gracefully and at least trying to enjoy the journey as you go through it. Maybe it's totally peaceful and awesome for you. That's great if it is. And just thank you to everybody for joining for these sessions. I love connecting to the Temple of Light, sharing all that energy. I'm just so excited with the little orb that came through. That was so sweet. All right. So we'll just go ahead and close the session today. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed it. And I look forward to connecting with you next time. So, sending you all so much love and light. Enjoy the journey, and bye for now.